What's shaking, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Shay, and today we're going to do a quick March wrap-up. Now, you may be thinking, where is the February wrap-up? I did not film a February wrap-up because I talked about every single book I read in February, except for 2 books in my vlogs in February. The 2 books that I did not talk about just are not worth talking about. They're not books I will scream from the rooftops about, so we're just skipping February wrap up and moving straight into March. Now, in March I read 12 books, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to talk about 11 of them. The one book that I'm not going to talk about is going to be in an upcoming vlog that you will see in the future. I did read a majority of another book also in the month of March, but I didn't finish it until April, so I'm going to save that book for April's wrap up. I read 4,097 pages this month. Again, more than that really, because I read a majority of another book in March, but for the sake of this video, I read 4,097 pages in the month of March, which is fantastic. I will talk about what goals I hit later in the video, but let's go ahead and hop right into it. If you don't know how I do my wrap-ups, I rank them from my lowest rated all the way up to my highest rated book. So here we go. My lowest rated book of the month was The Island by Adrienne McKenty. I gave it 2 stars. I was doing Ramathon in the month of March, so I really wasn't trying to DNF too many books. I kept thinking that this book would get better, and it was going to get better, and it did not. So this book is following our family who, it's a blended family. We have our father who's a doctor, and he's gone to Australia to a conference, and his family comes with him. So we have the stepmother and his 2 kids from a previous marriage. Of course, his 2 kids don't really get along with the stepmother, and they are always bickering and fighting, and they are sick of this trip because they have not even seen any koala bears. Like, they haven't gone and done anything. So of course, to satiate these kids, to make them happy, they're gonna go somewhere to find koala bears. And this man says, hey, I know where you can find some koala bears, and takes them to this island, and it goes from there. Of course, not everything is what it seems on this island. My problem was with mystery thrillers, I like twists and turns. This was more like you knew what was happening. It's like an action survivalist story, and I felt like it would have been better in a movie context than in a book. I pulled The Island out of my backlist jar. Coming in at number 10. 10. If I said 12 before, that was 11. This is number 10. And that's going to be Quaint Creatures, Magical and Mundane. I pulled this one out of my Self-Pub Indie jar. And this one I should have just said, no, Shay, you're not going to read this, because this is that cozy fantasy blend, and I am not the biggest fan of cozy fantasy. If you know me, you know me. Also, this is a novella. So it's a novella cozy fantasy, which is not for me. I did like parts of this novel. I just didn't like the cozy bits. But if you like cozy fantasy, I really think you may like this. We're following our veterinarian. He has retired from doing some military work, and now he's this veterinarian for these magical creatures, and we get to see some magical creatures. We get to see some problems and some political stuff, and we get to see him kind of try to solve this. Overall, you know, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't my favorite, and I ended up giving it 3 stars. Coming in at number 9 was a disappointment for me. I pulled this one out of my new releases jar, and that is When the Moon Hits Your Eye by John Scalzi. I've read several of John Scalzi's standalones at this point, and this one is his new release that just came out about how the moon turns to cheese and how this affects the world, and we are following the points of view of multiple different individuals. Some individuals we only follow for a chapter, and some individuals we follow for multiple chapters throughout the book, and that is where my problem lies, because it felt more like short stories collections, because we are seeing how this moon turns to cheese affects this person, and what happens in this person, and how the moon affecting cheese what happens with this person. So they're not like interconnected, so they're separate. And some people's stories I really jived with, I really felt connected to, and others I was totally not connected at all with, and so I had to land on a 3-star with this one. However, I do still think that the humor was on point. Coming in at number 8 is another 3-star read. This book, I was not planning on reading this book this month, but I kind of was like looking at my shelves in a pickle, like didn't know what to read next, and so I was like, fine, I'm gonna read this one, and that's God Killer by Hannah Kaner. I hate that I didn't love this book more than I did. I gave it 3 stars. Will I continue on with the series? I'm not quite sure. We live in this world where gods have been outlawed, and we are following Kissen, who is a god killer, and when she was young, her family was massacred by a god. Now her job is to go and hunt these gods to death. We're following multiple characters with multiple issues. One of those characters is a little girl that Kissen has basically been hired to help. The problem is this girl's soul is attached to the god of white lies, and he's very cute. He's a tiny little thing, and part of the story, he is cute. So she can't kill this god because it would kill the young girl. And then they run into a knight who is on his own quest to save his friend and the king, and they all come together and things happen. My problem with this is I just wasn't connected with the characters. Some of the story I was connected, and other parts of the story I was not. I liked, it's kind of like those stories that have multi POVs and you like one POV but you don't like the other POV. This is kind of where that fell for me, and I just don't know if I'm going to pick up the second book or not. I don't know if I'm intrigued enough, but I gave it 3 stars. Starting in on my 4-star reads, coming in at number 7 is the Mr. Guest by Nita Prose. So I pulled this one out of my series jar. This is, of course, Molly the Maid, and we are following Molly the Maid on another adventure. And to be quite fair, I think I liked this adventure more than the first one, which I know is probably an unpopular opinion. But I really liked this one. I like where Molly is in her journey in life. The hotel that she is working at is hosting an author event. And the author, of course, suddenly dies, and we see that he has some ties back to Molly, and we are trying to figure out what is going on. I really liked the fact that we got a lot of backstory and flashbacks to Molly's past in this one. Overall, really enjoyed this one more than the first. Then coming in at number 6 is going to be The Bloodless Princes, which is the second and final book in the duology that starts with The Fireborn Blade. I really loved The Fireborn Blade. I read it in February and gave it 5 stars. This one only landed at 4 stars. I can't tell you much about it because it is a sequel, but the reason why this one didn't get as much love from me is just because I loved that premise of the first one about stealing this heist story, about stealing this blade from this dragon. And this one, of course, didn't have that heist story anymore, so it brought it down a little bit, but I still love the characters, I still love the world, and I overall enjoyed my time and gave it 4 stars. Coming in at number 5 is going to be Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I started rereading Harry Potter last year, and I'm not trying to give it any more attention, but if you all know what Harry Potter is about at this point in time. I am having fun with my reread. I'm reading through the illustrated editions, which I bought a while ago, this one specifically, so that is that. Coming in at number 4 is going to be The First Ancestor by J.D.L. Roselle, which is the second book in the Ranger of the Titan Wilds series. I liked this, 4 stars. I immediately went and brought the next one in the series. I just like Layan as a character, and I really love JDL's character works. He's not all plot driven, he's not all character driven, he does a great mix of both. And the first book in this series, which is The Last Ranger, we are introduced to our main character, Layan, who is a ranger of the Titan Wilds, and she is the last ranger because one day she comes back from a mission and she sees that her people have been slaughtered. So everybody that she knows, all the other rangers of the Titan Wilds are slaughtered, and it is her revenge story. And we are continuing that story in here. There were some things that happened at the end of The Last Ranger that we start almost directly after with the first ancestor, and we're introduced to new characters, and I can honestly say I liked all these characters. I like where the world went, and can't wait to read the next book in the series. Coming in at number 3, another series continuation as I'm trying to hit my goals. That is going to be Murder on the Lamplight Express by Morgan Stang. Listen to me right now. If y'all aren't reading these books, what in the world are you doing? Because this starts with Murder at Spindle Manor, which this was the self-published fantasy blog off winner for last year. So fantastic. And this is the second book. Oh my gosh, love this, love the humor in this, love the mysteries in this. This is like if you were to do a real life Clue kind of mystery. Mr. Mustard did it in the whatever with the whatever. I mean, I love this. There's humor in this. The characters are freaking fantastic. I went ahead and brought the next book in the series, and I cannot wait to read that one as well. Y'all are sleeping on these. Y'all are sleeping on these. These are just fantastic. So you're sleeping on it. But yes, it's self-published. Yes, it's indie, but totally worth the time. If I was going to say any self-published series that I've read that kind of is open to any kind of audience, it's this one. And I highly recommend you read them. Coming in at number 2 is a very unpopular opinion. Very unpopular. But that's going to be The Gods Below by Miss Andrea Stewart. I really loved this, y'all. I loved the characters. I loved the world. I have got just immersed in these characters. And if you can make me care about characters, you can make me love your book. And that's what happened here. We are following a world where the gods have kind of made a bargain that they will restore this torn apart human world for a price. And so the gods come about and they restore the lands piece by piece. But in this restoration process, some people go missing, some people get transformed. We are following a group of sisters who have lost their parents in previous transformations, and they are running from this. So a dark cloud comes, and that's how they know that the transformation is here. And so they are gonna run from this, and then they get separated. So one is a part of the transformation and one is not. And that is kind of where we start our story at. And I loved these characters. I love this book. I love this world. And 5 stars, 5 stars. And of course, my favorite book of the month, An Echo of Things to Come. I told you I was gonna read this in the month of March, and I did read it. I freaking adored it. I loved it. This is right now, as it sits, my favorite series of all time. I still have one more book in the trilogy to go, but y'all, this is some top-notch fantasy. This is a fantasy. It's a beefy boy, but during this book, under no circumstance was I like, hey, I just wish this book was over with. No, it kept me engaged the whole time. I love the characters. The character work was great. Highly, 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 highly recommend this. Love this, love this. Okay, as far as my goals and what I hit in the month of March. As for my series, okay, I started 2 series. I continued on in 5 series. I completed 1 series, and I DNF'd 2 series. So my series in progress now is 43, and 7 of those 43 series are caught up where the next book in the series is not out, which is down from my start of the year in 2025, which I had 46 series started, and only 5 of those were caught up. So I'm making some progress. I'm making some strides here. I've really been trying to hit that goal, and I am doing it. In the month of March, I read 6 books out of my own TBR that came prior to 2025. So I think that is fantastic. So at the start of 2025, I had 273 unread books, whether that be physical book, audiobook, ebook. 273. I have read now 15 of those 273 books, which is like 5.5%. Could it be better? Yes. But in the month of March, I read 6 of those 15. So I'm doing the progress. I'm doing what I'm setting out to do. I am very happy with my goals. I'm happy with my progress, and I cannot wait to see what April holds. What did you guys read in March? Did you read anything that I have read, and what are your thoughts on it? And I will see you in the next one.